Following program is intended for mature audiences.
Take him to Detroit.
No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Anything but that!
No! If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? Putting on the Ritz. Different types who wear a day coat, pants with stripes and cutaway coat, perfect fits. Putting on the Ritz. Dress up like $1 million trooper, trying hard to look like Gary Cooper. Come, let's mix where Rockefellers walk with sticks or umbrellas in their mix. Putting on the Ritz. Have you seen the well-to-do up and down Park Avenue on that famous thoroughfare with their noses in the air? High hats and arrow collars, white spats and lots of dollars, spending every dime for a wonderful time. If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits?
Live from the Raw Radio X studios in the Russell Bazaar Center in Midtown Detroit, Michigan. The IT and the D show presented to you by DetroitNet.org. Without further ado, I give you Bob the Sales Guy, Dave the Geek, and Jeff the Voice of Reason.
Who's finally back.
Who's back from Delaware.
Setting up our tax shelter.
And sponsored by nobody, because we're not really taking any sponsors.
No sponsors.
No. But
so this is
glad to be back. Glad to be back.
Good to be back. Good to have you back. This is our fourth installment of the IT and the D show. We call it episode 4, A New Hope for Twitter.
Define we. That's, yeah.
All right.
What would you little maniac like to do?
We gotta let that one go.
We need to increase the volume on that.
Absolutely.
Probably need to do it earlier.
Yeah.
But like I said, this is episode 4, A New Hope for Twitter. This is the IT and the D show. This episode is all about beer and social media. We got a couple great guests lined up in the studio. We got Billy from... Billy, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, Billy Strotter from, Social Coop Media, but you guys know me from Tipsy McStaggers.
We know. You're the social media guy for Tipsy McStaggers.
One of the greatest bar names ever. That's what I love about that. You know, it's like bars keep opening with the intent of pulling Detroit Net events there. You know, so we've got, Billy, who we met at Tipsy McStaggers, and then our other guest in studio is Mark from Falling Down. Is it Beer Company or Brewing Company? I want to make sure I get it right.
Beer Company.
Beer Company.
They're based out in Warren, Michigan, 10 in DeQuinder. I think it's one of the greater stories, Dave, when Dave told me, it's like, hey, a couple IT guys had some free time, started a brewery. I'm like, wow, what a novel concept.
You reinvented yourself.
Well, okay, first he cried for about a week and a half that he hadn't done it first. And then he was like, all right, we can go there for an event. I'll suffer through it.
Do I have to drink beer? All right, fine.
They only serve beer? I don't understand.
Well, yeah, no. So that's how we found Falling Down. Started following them as the progress was going on. And I think I reached out to you guys, first back in like October, when you were just gearing up.
Yeah, it was about 5 months before you actually showed up there.
Yeah, and then so it was even before the doors opened, they were doing a soft opening, and we had our February event there. And everybody had a blast, and everybody loved it. So, we've been kind of talking. One of the things we wanted to do here, everything we do with Detroit Net is all about, locally owned, locally operated. We wanted to do more with that. And, plus it gives us an excuse to bring a guy from a brewery in here who brought a cooler with him.
Growlers.
Yeah. I think this is going to be our new business model. Invite brewers in, they bring beer, we say yay.
Yeah, I brought our two most popular beers right now, too. So you guys got...
What are those?
Yeah, which ones are they?
It's a Rye Saison and our Cherry Blonde. So made with Traverse City cherries.
Nice.
Sourcing in Michigan.
And we like blondes.
Shop
Yeah,
local,
we do.
grow
We
local.
do. You're not upset we're drinking Pabst in the initial segment, are you?
You're not offended? Hey, pop it. There you go.
There you go. It's that whole save the best for last thing.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, we wanted to dive into social media a little bit this time around.
This is social media is a I guess, there's a lot of stuff running around, right? And you'd probably laugh, Billy. with social media experts, and everyone's got their take, and everyone thinks they know everything. And at the end of the day, I don't think we know anything. Gurus.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you are a guru, are
social media ninja.
That's right.
Take that back.
Well, I think they evolved from the SEO experts from 8-9 years ago. Now
Right.
Yep.
they hopped on the latest trend.
It's the new snake oil. Absolutely.
yeah. So we want to, I guess in the show we want to make sense of, the do's and don'ts, at least what we've got on feedback, and things that we do for best practices in terms of how we use social media. And then we want to find out how, local restaurants, local breweries, and how they use social media to reach their audiences.
Right. So, I mean, and Billy, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, the running shtick that we've always used is so LinkedIn is basically my virtual office. If it wouldn't be weird for you to call me on my office phone or show up in my office, by all means, we should be a LinkedIn connection. Twitter, Twitter's like you found my phone number or email address somewhere. By all means, follow me, have fun, shoot a note at me. The worst thing that's going to happen is the same thing with my email address or phone number, and that's I ignore you.
Well, it's also the office water cooler as well. I mean, you can choose to ignore, walk past it, grab a drink, stop by, or not.
Yeah,
or keep walking,
or lose all sense of time.
And let me throw that out.
If you're standing there,
Well, and then so to finish the analogy, so Facebook is always that's my living room online. So the running shtick I always say is okay, so if it wouldn't be weird for you to show up in my living room, and by that I mean I wouldn't think it's weird for you to show up in my living room, then by all means we should be Facebook friends. And then it's Google Plus is the gym membership of the internet that everybody rushes to join, and then nobody ever actually goes.
Perfect.
And I'm out.
And I'm done. You're supposed to be, using these as a question so he can actually segue into that.
Well, no. So I mean, that's why we know you is you do a lot of the social media stuff for some companies in the area, and so we know it from
he's a guru,
a personal perspective.
Sorry,
he's gonna reach across the table and choke you. I swear to God.
Sorry.
So how is it different from a business? And Mark would have some some input on that as well. What do businesses do differently that maybe from a personal perspective we're not seeing?
Right. Yeah, we actually did a cool training session on this today. We're really, as a business,
and our invite was where?
Yeah,
I don't. My phone didn't ring.
I sent it in the mail.
Wait, what is mail?
Yeah, the social media guys sent an invite in the mail. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, from a business standpoint, really, it starts with listening. Figuring out who your target audience is, and not just jumping in the fray. You really need to understand how people use each platform, and then from there, you hop in, and it's not all about promotion. It shouldn't just be all about me, but really being able to have some sort of
take note, Dave.
I always make it about us.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Right, but just
even though everybody knows it's me.
Yes. Right. Yeah, but just finding a nice mix between here's what we have going on, but just having a conversation with people.
So the keyword is engaging.
Yeah, engagement is big.
Well, and something you said, really kind of it hits with what we've seen. So like LinkedIn, okay, great. We've got a group with over 4,300 members. We've got a ton of engagement there, and life's great. Our Facebook page was languishing and dying for the longest time with 50 likes until we finally figured out that people don't want blogs on Facebook. They don't want events. They want memes. They want stupid little pictures that make them laugh in 4 seconds, and they can like it and share it and move on.
Right. Yep, absolutely. I mean, images are big. What you do on Facebook, you don't necessarily need to do on Twitter. And the same goes with
Bob's big hot button.
No, let me. It's funny the weird etiquette that happened with Facebook. Let's just go LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. LinkedIn, you can post probably 3 times a week, and you're not that guy.
Right.
I see guys that post 3 times a day, and I ran them at an event, and I go, "Oh my God, you're that guy that completely." My entire LinkedIn feed is you.
What do you do all day?
Right.
Don't you have a job?
And on Facebook too, if you post more than twice a day, knock it off. Yeah. Right? I hate you.
Here's my breakfast. Here's my lunch. Here's my dinner. This is what I did. Here's my kid at the pool. Here's my kid on the swing. Here's my
Why won't she call? But with Twitter, you could post 3,000 times a day and no one would care. And how did I still don't get Twitter, so that's why I don't get where that etiquette came from. But there's not this like I hate you. There's no annoyance factor with Twitter because it's kind of like we call
Twitter's the bullhorn. I mean, you can shout from the top of the rooftops, and people are going to listen or not listen.
It's like Game of Thrones, 140 characters, and you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. Well, and that's my whole thing with Twitter. Like, I do
nice
like
analogy.
Thank you.
I wish. Well, yeah, but they kill everyone, so it doesn't really matter.
It's a new cast every season,
right? But like, I would love to spend more time engaging in Twitter. But I mean, I almost feel like every time I open up my account and start looking at my stream, I'm starting to drink from the fire hose, and I don't even know
that's what it is.
Yeah.
But could you imagine? I have I follow 500, 600 people, and I think maybe 20 people follow me because I really don't say anything meaningful.
That's probably
well. Somebody can counter this argument and say, "Well, it's just like TV. If you don't like it, change your channel. You unfollow those people."
But what about the guys that follow 10,000 people?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's unmanageable.
It's totally. It's at that point. It's useless.
Yep. So on average, there are about 340 million tweets sent daily. So
God.
right, so
they're all Sophie Vergara.
I can handle 340 million a day from her. That'd be good.
Right,
it's not that kind of show, Dave.
Yeah, and so the problem that you run into with Twitter is that it moves so fast, and when you're following 10,000 people, your stream is just it's one stacked on top of another.
But when some people send me I'm sorry, I don't mean to chime in. When people send me messages,
he's sorry that the middle of his sentence interrupted the beginning of yours.
I've been doing this all night.
Right.
But
I'll say it again. Mute his mic.
when someone sends me a direct message on Twitter, and there's a vague chance I might see it, why don't you just email me or text?
Or how about this? How about calling you?
Or even calling me. But that's the one thing, especially people that I know. I could see if it was some random, right? But it's like, Chris did it. You sent me a message like, you know my number.
Right.
Why did you need to take a chance that I might not even see this?
It's that's the social media etiquette. It's first you visit, then you call, then you email, then you do social media, whatever.
Yeah, but when you've already been out drinking with people, call. You're good.
Well, there are exceptions.
Yeah, I mean, everyone uses it differently, obviously, but there's so many different ways of being connected. So I send you a text. You don't answer my text, I send you a direct message. If you don't answer the direct message, I send you an @ reply. You don't
Why won't you answer?
that, right?
Why would you call?
Are you Sheldon Cooper?
Yes. No, but
and then I checked your Facebook status, and then
Billy.
Billy Strutter. Billy Strutter.
But you see that, right? Because we're so connected.
Yeah.
It's hard to hide. Unfortunately.
That's true. That is very true.
Well, it's kind of like what beeper etiquette from the late 90s, right? If you don't call back within 3 seconds.
Did he just pull out the beeper?
I did.
Right?
I did. I just turned 40 this year. I'm allowed to. I still remember my number, actually, also.
Sky Pager.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And when sending smoke signals to your friends, you should...
Those still work.
You didn't return your page in 5 seconds. Now I'm going to 911 you.
Absolutely.
Right.
It becomes like this.
Well, and back then, Jesus, you had to find a payphone. Yeah,
that actually meant something.
Did I have a quarter?
Yeah. Right. You don't have quarters? No.
So, so Twitter, different platforms, different that kind of stuff. I mean, so what else are we, not seeing? Because I mean, that's like I said, it's overwhelming for people, and I just had a whole conversation. My niece's graduation party was Saturday, and wound up having a 20-minute conversation with one of the cousins about what's a hashtag, and why is it on Twitter, and what does it mean on Facebook, and what does it mean on Instagram, and what does it do, and it's a whole weird world that people just don't get.
Yeah, hashtags are a cool thing that the Twitter community.
You just not
created.
describe hashtags as cool, did you? the door is right. No.
I know.
Let him.
I'm kidding.
Let him
Give me your
talk.
beer.
For crying out loud, let him talk.
Can you give him some candy or something?
You know what? I got a beer in his hand.
I'm sorry, Billy. I'm sorry, Billy. Go ahead.
Yeah. The reason why I refer to hashtags as cool is because when you have 340 million tweets going out every day, you need some way of...
You need a filter.
Is that a meat stick?
Oh, it's a Slim Jim.
It's a Slim Jim.
Let's just be clear. People don't get video with this, so let's be abundantly clear with our review.
Exactly. So you use a hashtag as a way to
10 minutes
to organize information. So when you have a lot of things going out, how do I find a conversation? So anyone that's talking about summer, you put a hashtag in front of the word summer, you find every single conversation that's taking place. And
which is the rough equivalent of Googling summer, and then you have an endless stream of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
60 million returns. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
so it's a filter of sorts.
It is. That's exactly what it is. And for the longest time, which is not necessarily the right sort of thing to do, is that people send their tweets, or they send from Twitter directly to Facebook.
Yep.
And so they were sending hashtags
and LinkedIn and
right. Yeah, because you're sending the same message to all of your platforms, not recommended.
Right.
But so it started to become sort of a trend on Facebook.
Yes.
Where people were starting to use hashtags they didn't even understand why.
But you can search for keywords. This is one thing. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. You can search for keywords and still see them without hashtagging them.
Yes.
Are you just putting an emphasis on it?
You are.
You are. It is an emphasis.
And from a search standpoint, a search string standpoint, by putting that hashtag, it makes it a lot easier for the algorithm to find those conversations just by putting the hashtag.
So I get
in front
that was a word with like 4 syllables. Tone it down for Bob.
No, okay, I'm sorry about
No, so I get the whole. If you're a brand engaging with your customers, right? I get the whole. If you're a Hollywood type, the one to many approach, right? I don't get the whole point of like there was a thing going on a couple months ago where let's get this word to trend and it'll be awesome. And it trended,
and it will cure cancer.
And then what? Right? I never like. Oh my God, it's gonna be the most amazing thing ever. We're gonna get this hashtag to trend. What? I mean, does that even? Where does that even resonate on the scale? Is that like Reddit karma? I mean, what? I mean, shed some light on that for a minute.
It's just about trending. Is just really about the cool factor.
Something you could talk about at a bar.
Yeah,
and really,
it's like,
so it's ego. It really is. It's corporation ego.
That's what I thought it was.
But you have two different groups. There's really multiple types of groups that you have on Twitter. But you have that sounds so nice. But you have, say 18 or 15 to 24. They use Twitter in a completely different way than those that are 25 to 40. So they're just tweeting memes, right? It's just whatever the cool thing is, and how do we get it to trend, and how do we get more people jumping on the bandwagon?
Pictures of themselves.
Exactly.
Well, that's the thing. Like that, it like I watch my niece's social media stream. I'm one of the few people that's allowed.
Gotta be fascinating.
Well, I'm like one of the few that's allowed to follow her on Twitter, and Facebook and that kind of stuff.
Probably for good reason.
Well, no, but it's one of those things where I look at it more than anything else. I'm like, my God, thank Christ, this stuff didn't exist.
Yeah.
When I was 16, 17 years old, because we'd all be in. I know he'd be in jail. I'd be in jail.
I mean, going through high school right now with social media, that would be a nightmare. I can't even imagine what.
1,000 people in your graduating class. You got to be friends with everybody. Then you're following.
Oh yeah, talk about a fire hose.
Oh, not just that, but I mean, every time something happens at a party or you trip in the hallway and suddenly, it's not the running joke with the class. It's a YouTube video that 1 million people are watching. And
just look at what
I fear for my children. What are they going to experience 20 years from now?
Just look at what I did with my 9-year-old. She got an iPod Touch for her birthday that she was saving up for a year. She's crying bloody murder that she got an iPod. I put it on YouTube, right? I don't know if it's good, bad, indifferent, right? And her friends thought it was awesome.
Right.
But what's going to happen when she's 18 and somebody sees it? It goes, you cried when you know.
Well, Bill, you brought up a good point.
Come back to haunt.
The social media avenues, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. The whole millennial population uses it completely different from the corporate world.
Yes, they
I
do.
mean, the corporate world's trying to monetize on it.
Right.
To use that terrible word that I hate. And they're trying to jump on that to attract that target audience, whether it's, the Facebook memes or, Twitter hashtags or whatever, to promote the latest, Ford Taurus or whatever the case may be. So,
yeah, and that group isn't, that generation isn't really interested in what corporations have to say.
Well, they're growing up in a world without commercials.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you can blow past them, where everything's on demand. And so, why would they?
Well, the endorsements now, I heard, if they give so much money to say, hey, I'm eating this and it's amazing, or I'm using this makeup for the Hollywood types, and they're giving them like 6-figure checks for just tweeting something. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Right. Yeah, there was a little bit of controversy because Beyonce, Bouncy, what she was doing was taking pictures of, I can't remember if she's Coca-Cola or Pepsi, but taking pictures of Pepsi, not really for any other reason than to promote the product. And so it gets kind of weird because you have this
contractual or something?
Yeah, and so
it's the awkward product placement in the movie that's painfully obvious.
Yes.
Well, it becomes your neighbor coming over pitching Amway. It's like pretty soon, I don't want you to come over anymore. I mean, really, it boils down to you put enough Pepsi pictures up. It's like, I'm kind of unfollowing you. if there's really this is the only value you're bringing, right?
Yeah.
Or promoted treat.
So
tweets,
there's a line to it, right? Because it's really easy to click that unfollow, and you probably aren't going to come back.
And that's the challenge for brands.
Sure.
How do you get your message across without being creepy or having an awkward sort of product placement? And that's it. So you spend a lot of time really just listening and understand how your target audience is using each medium.
Well,
so
following their hashtags about you and seeing what they're saying about you and reacting.
And then there's another thing too. Like I do contract work for a major automotive manufacturer that's out in Auburn Hills that rhymes with Schmeissler. And they, everything is discoverable, right? I mean, their corporations like that are scared of social media. They're petrified of what an employee might put out there in the company's voice or not the company's voice. So that's another thing that
did kind of just happen with Chrysler last year, where the guy tweeted from the wrong account.
Exactly. That's my point. That's a case example of why they shy away from it. And we have an entire section of the building that's dedicated to legal, keeping all that stuff legal.
But you have to almost
voice.
have to seem hip. I see these things all the time where somebody does a public complaint against Taco Bell, right? And you don't want like the 42-year-old marketing executive answering back with "We're very sorry." You want like kind of a 24-year-old kind of witty answer, be funny, and make light of it, and then take care of the problem. I mean, because that's really what's gonna answer those things.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Say the line. Yeah.
No, but that is but that's Taco Bell. Now, if you're a company that a major automotive supplier, you may not want that 24-year-old sending a reply.
Without a doubt.
Right?
It's all about your brand.
But what you need to do is make sure that you have some sort of plan in place. Because if someone's sending a tweet because they're angry or they're posting it on Facebook, the best thing that you can do is at least acknowledge it. Right. So that's what we tell our corporate clients. We tell them, you want to make sure that you acknowledge it, but create some sort of email like "we care" at whatever your company name is, and just let them know, what, we heard your complaint. Mm-hmm. Can you please send us an email and let's take this conversation offline?
Well, how many?
So at least you can diffuse the situation.
Ignoring it.
Right.
Yep.
How many Fortune 1000 brands these days though don't have a social media policy? I think at this stage, 2013, I think most of them might.
So far behind the curve, if that's the case.
You think?
Oh, absolutely.
There's still quite a few that don't even have. They're dipping their toe in, but they don't even bother with
entire industries. I mean, look at Apple. Apple is the most profitable company on the planet. They do not have a Twitter presence at all
because they sell $2,000 Facebook machines. But that's
whatever the case may be. They choose not to engage in that entire audience.
That's because it's not iTwitter.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Right. All right. Yeah.
And they don't need to, do they?
Maybe,
right. But I don't know if that's the reason. Then
maybe. Then who does?
I mean, but is that what makes it cool about?
Why does Kim Kardashian? Cool? I mean,
because that's pop culture. I mean, that's a different audience.
To
go back to the whole millennium.
Are you kidding? Apple's just as much a pop culture as anybody.
I'm just waiting for their child to come to Michigan when she's 18, because then all the hey, we're going to go up north jokes will start.
Well, yeah, but that's not Northwest though.
Bob, Apple's a company and a brand.
Traverse City
is Kardashian a brand?
Absolutely, it's a brand.
What are they selling?
Her mug. Are you kidding?
I don't think they're selling her mug.
They're not. I mean, what websites do you go to?
She is absolutely a brand in every way. I was going to say shape and form, but we're not going to go there either.
Well, no, but I mean, you look at from the fact, they do have a store now. They do have the reality shows. They do have, everything.
So they're selling viewership on the
when you become
shows.
iconic like that, you're absolutely a brand. Ben Affleck is a brand, for crying out loud.
Really? Have you seen his movies lately?
Absolutely. I saw Mallrats. Yeah, I know where he came from.
Well, Twitter, where Ashton Kutcher has more followers than CNN.
But does it matter? Right? Does the amount of followers really transfer into actually selling?
We talked about.
Well, so how do you talk about? I mean, when you consult to companies and they're like falling down that are trying to get that social media presence, how are you selling it? That avenue of advertisement to them. We always joke that LinkedIn is not a video game. You don't want to have 1 million followers on one social media account and 0 on the other.
But I think it's okay.
Our
for
Google
Twitter.
Plus account has 0 followers, but we don't use it. We choose not to use it. We've never posted. I mean, that's our.
So you know what? We're the Apple of Google Plus.
Right there you go. Right. But Billy, to talk.
I think it's okay on Twitter to have 1 million followers, but LinkedIn it's complete opposite.
Exactly. That's my point.
Right. Again, with the etiquette is why is it okay for Twitter where you can do pretty much there's no rules, nothing, Where everybody else, there's these fine lines.
Well, and it's the difference between following and connecting. I mean, that's the key difference between those two platforms.
Yeah, and I think that's a common misconception about social media. Should I be, because social media is just this juggernaut, do I need to have a presence? And again, it comes down to the basics of marketing. Where's your target audience spending their time? So there are some companies that just may not see any sort of return from Facebook.
True.
Right?
AARP, big on Twitter? No?
Doubtful.
We just you just had GM last year who dropped their Facebook advertising because they weren't getting any return on the investment.
And what type of investment do you wonder, were they actually putting into that? Was it like an entire legion of staff, manning their Facebook posts? I mean, is that salaries? What is that investment that they were doing? That's the interesting part.
Yeah, and I almost think that there was something going on behind the scenes between Facebook and GM where, a company that size just doesn't just drop their advertising like that. And could it be that GM was just not doing a very good job with their social?
Entirely possible.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on 9:30. I'm going to take a quick break.
Wow, that flew by fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We got Mark here from Falling Down Brewing Company. Since our tagline for Detroit Net is networking Detroit one beer at a time, we thought it'd be a good idea to bring in a brewing company. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
Oh, yeah, and we'll come back with, more Billy, more us, and
It's IT and the D Show.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
So it's sort of social. Demented and sad, but social, right?
And we are back. IT and the D Show here at Raw Radio X, Russell Bazaar. Again, you got Bob the Sales Guy here with Dave the Geek, Jeff the Voice of Reason.
Hello, hello.
And we're joined, got a couple great guests here. We got Billy from Social Coop Media, got Mark from Falling Down Beer Company. Today's episode 4. It's a new hope for Twitter. So the topic of today has been all about social media, talking about Twitter. And it's funny, the best conversation we've had all day today went on during the break.
And we had to cut ourselves off. And stop talking. We need to have this on the air. Damn it.
Absolutely. But there was a great thing that, we talked about, Mark with his beer company. And we talked about Facebook metrics. So, Jeff, if you want to pick this up, it's what we talked about. This is too good of a conversation not to pick up right now.
Well, Mark, you were talking about how much it's costing you for your Facebook presence and your Facebook followers, and Bill, you chimed in that it doesn't really cost that much to have that impression to promote yourself on that particular medium.
No, in 2011, we started out with a $100 Facebook ad that ran about a month long.
Okay.
Didn't spend another dime on it. We're up to 4,400 followers. We had almost 4,000 before we even opened. So... And it's all about interaction. I wanted to chime in earlier, but it's all about interaction.
Right.
I wasn't posting, here's my beer, come drink it.
Right.
I'm posting, hey, the Red Wings are playing a playoff game. What do you think the score is going to be?
So it's more conversational.
Getting replies, replying back. Those are on Friday, I post a dinner special. I might get 5 likes. If I go on there and I go, hey, it's 80 degrees out, what are you going to drink today? I'll get 30 posts of I'm going to drink this beer.
Right. And what do you see as far as a difference in terms of engagement when you post say you take a picture of the food or a picture of the beer and you post that on Facebook?
Oh, it's gigantic. The picture makes all the difference in the world. We've posted...
It's all about the Reuben egg rolls.
Oh, my God. If you have not been to Falling Down Beer Company, it's on 10 and DeQuinder. The whole reason to go, besides the beer's delicious, is the Reuben egg rolls. Those changed my life. I just have to throw that out there.
Yes.
As a resident food guy here.
Fabulous.
But, yeah, we posted... I don't remember what the item was, but we posted, like, fish tacos or something. Just did it as text. Nobody came in for them. The following week, we posted them again with a nice picture of them on a plate and everything. We sold out in 4 hours.
Yeah, that's amazing how social media works. But I wanted to talk a little bit about your ad buy. So initially, it's a good idea to spend $100, $200. But if you're looking to continue to grow your following on Facebook, you can do that for as little as $2 a day.
Well, what's the difference if you go...
Well, let me ask you...
For 27 cents a day.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean,
you can feed this Facebook
that initial buy, was that 1 month, or is that pay once and you're done, or is that a subscription model? I mean, for the complete advertising newbie, what is...
It was $100 for a month.
For 1 month?
Yeah, for 1 month. It was actually... get as many likes as possible until you ran out of that $100.
How many people did that $100
to a
reach,
month.
though? Because Facebook will tell you what that reach was, and what did that $100 get you in terms of reach?
It was 435 people. 435 likes, and then we took it from there, just being social.
Just being organic at that point. And growing
exactly.
From that.
And it's all about targeting. So we used the hashtags or whatever you want to call them, right?
Yeah.
So we targeted Michigan Beer, Michigan Brewers Guild, Grand Rapids Beer, craft beer. Those are the people that got it. It was a very specific audience.
Now, have you guys figured out what your cost per acquisition is, or have you gotten that deep, or do you know where your break even is? It's just usually metrics and advertising.
Well, and more to the point, I mean, it's not just it doesn't stop with they liked your Facebook page. I mean, your conversion is get people in drinking beer.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the wonderful thing about Facebook is that they have so many metrics that you can break it down to, I only want to advertise to people who are fans of beer pages that live within the city of Warren. Or you can even take it out even further and say within a 10-mile radius of my location. So then you're only advertising to people who are most likely to visit your establishment. But to take it even a step further, to get a little bit geeky, which I think that's okay.
You're allowed here.
Right? You're allowed. This is IT in the D.
Is that you can then say, I want to advertise to friends of friends. So then what Facebook does is it shows a recommendation saying, hey, Bob likes Falling Down Beer Company. Why don't you check it out?
So, I mean, has this completely killed Google AdWords? I mean, from the sounds of things, from how... Oh, had a caller. From the sounds of things, is in terms of how granular you can get in terms of your reach, to me, it completely kills Google AdWords. And am I wrong?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, to a point. I mean,
what else is new?
Well, I mean, what's the joke? I mean, Facebook is the AOL of the modern era, right? I mean, it's a walled garden. I mean, Google AdWords. It hits a wider audience, but it's probably falling on deaf ears. Facebook, I mean, everyone's on Facebook, and the majority of Facebook users thinks that Facebook is the internet.
Yes.
Just like back in the day, they thought AOL was the internet.
Again,
500 hours free.
I think it's
right. Yeah, exactly.
It's a different.
How many discs do you have? Right.
I think it's a different acquisition target too, right? When with Google AdWords, you're looking at selling firewalls or selling laptops, whereas with Facebook, you're getting more. Hey, who's the guy going to have a beer tonight? Where I don't think the guy is Googling, where should I have a beer tonight? Where on Facebook you might.
And it's a difference of how you spend your time as well, right? When you go to Google, you're generally looking for an answer to something.
True.
When you're on
true.
Facebook, you're just sort of hanging out. So part
Killing
of that
time.
is just
Well, it's back to the whole
discovery.
living room motif.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good way. So it doesn't kill Google from a standpoint. Facebook would love for that to happen. And here's, we were talking about privacy. today at our training session. And the interesting thing about Facebook and Google is they have this tool called retargeting. So if you're familiar with cookies, right? You visit a website, cookie gets installed on your computer, follows you around. So you start seeing advertisements on different websites, and they start following you around. So the way to get around that is basically just logging out of your Facebook account, because they do track you. As
Twitter does the same thing.
Yep, Twitter
Oh, yeah,
does
that's,
exact
you know,
same
the
thing.
running gag is, I don't always shop for things on Amazon, but when I do, Facebook has an ad waiting for me.
And that's why I use 3 different browsers.
Yeah, sure, that's why.
Yeah, that's why.
But at the end of the day, right, you're more concerned with, am I getting people into Falling Down Beer Company?
Well, and now that they've got the places, you can check in, you can you can measure some of that stuff a little bit better now, right?
Oh, absolutely. Especially Yelp and Foursquare. Those are great sites to actually measure your return.
So that's a good segue into Yelp, because Dave and I have a little bit of experience with them. I mean, what's your take or what's your feelings on Yelp as a whole? Are you getting the people that are like, yay, I like it, or are you getting the people that are like, I didn't get the best service ever and I hate it, and I'm telling all
I'm
my
never
friends I hate
going
it.
back.
To me, that's what I see at Yelp is almost where
It is.
I went to a brewery and they couldn't make me a martini. Those bastards.
It's extremes. It's extremes.
Yeah.
All of our Yelp reviews are 1 star or 5 stars. There's no in between. And we
were 5 stars.
Yeah. we have a running joke because we have this one Yelp review, and it literally says your beer is awesome, your food is out of this world. We hate the atmosphere in the booths. 1 star.
And that lives forever.
That's exactly.
awesome. Yeah.
Right. And
I went to
people are hard on you on Yelp and Foursquare and social media, and I think it's kind of you don't have the interactions, the hidden face.
Do you even bother trying to
respond to them or
that, or
I do.
give attention to
I
it
respond to every post in social media, whether it's Yelp, Foursquare, Facebook, Twitter. I respond to everything.
Wow.
Well, it's almost like these days you have to open up in a refurbished 20s barbershop or in like an old barn, or like the foodies aren't going to like you. If you have like the slightest smidgen of being corporate, you can have the most amazing...
Or even if you're just clean.
Right. I went to a cheesesteak place and I read the Yelp reviews and they're like, oh my God, it was so corporate. I hated it, but the sandwich is great. It's like, well, isn't that the point? You're going for lunch? I couldn't imagine having to filter through that stuff if
I can't wait to hear our iTunes reviews.
Exactly.
How do you monitor for those mentions?
Oh, I have everything running through my iPhone.
Okay. Yeah.
So as soon as anything goes up, I'm immediately notified of it.
Yeah, there's a cool tool called socialmention.com. So what you can do is just throw your name in or whatever business that you're running, and it pulls from Facebook, Twitter, blog posts,
Really?
Instagram.
Is that free?
It is free.
Wow.
We like free.
Free's always good.
I'll check it out. I use the free version of Hootsuite, so that
good tool.
that gives me a lot of that. Yeah.
So I mean, I guess that's that. So what's next for Falling Down? I mean, that that was one of the reasons we wanted to have you in here. Is we wanted you to have the opportunity to talk about what you got. I mean, obviously the Reuben egg rolls are a big.
Well, you did bring some beer in. That was
I did. I brought 2 growlers of beer in.
That's we should.
We'll be hitting that momentarily.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But so I mean, so what does somebody want to come to Falling Down for? Other than of course the Reuben egg rolls.
Yeah, right now we're making fabulous beer. We finally got the system down. We're pushing out great experimental beers, and you can tell from our reviews people are kind of confused by some of the stuff, like our summer wheat.
Yeah, so you're doing a lot of small batch.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of small batch, and we're trying to be different about it. The rye saison, which you guys are going to try tonight. Okay, I'm not personally a big fan of saisons, and so I decided.
I never even heard of it, and I'm a beer guy.
Right. So,
I think I stayed at the Four Saisons once. No,
where's the
Kaiser Soze? What?
So I wanted to make something that I liked, that I would drink, and I could present to people that I liked. So I threw a bunch of rye into it to make it spicy, and it actually came out to something I would drink.
Nice.
So, Mark, let's take a huge step back. I always loved your story on how you guys started. Why don't you take a huge step back, kind of give a 30-second Mile High overview on how you guys just started following down Beer Company, because I think it's a great story.
Yeah, this is a good story.
You think the name, or how me and George got together?
No, I mean, you guys were IT guys, and
we're still IT guys.
Been there, done that, but I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
See, they actually found a way to monetize their hobby.
I'm just saying.
we are doing it wrong.
And so, as the story goes, I was showing a friend of mine who works with me how to cook a dinner for his girlfriend, and we're slamming some Bell's Oberon and Two Hearted, and he asked me why I wasn't brewing beer, because I can make all this food. I was showing him how to make lamb chops or something, and
so you actually know what you're doing.
Yeah. He's like, isn't it just a recipe? So I called my friend George up, who's also in IT now that he's the co-founder, and I'm like, you homebrew, right? Have you brewed in a while? And he's like, I haven't brewed in years, but if you want to brew something, let's go shop for some ingredients. So went to his house, middle of winter. I think it was -10 out. We're on his back patio, brewing a batch of beer. We literally chilled the beer down by throwing it in the snow.
Fantastic. nice. Very organic.
And George was like, you just throw this grain in, you throw these hops in.
Oh, this looks good.
You boil it up. Yeah. Throw a handful of this
Pinch,
in.
dash, splash. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so we went through it all, and I'm just thinking, I'm sitting down the whole time going, well, what does this mean? How is this? How does this all come
add
together?
to the overall? Yeah.
I'm just boiling it. Why am I boiling it? So I went home and I just started researching the science behind it. So then,
an IT guy with OCD, no.
I was Sheldon Cooper. I was.
Yeah.
I was. I had the whiteboard going, the whole thing.
Wow.
And I got George over a few days later, and I'm like, okay, so we're going to put 1.65 pounds of this grain in, and we're going to put 0.25 pounds of this grain in.
You had it all figured out.
We're going to boil it for 55 minutes, and then we're going to drain it, and then we're going to do this. Yeah,
we're going to drink it.
And what came out was an exact clone of Guinness.
And so you know what, though? We actually haven't given out the number, which we should.
Yeah, we should.
It's 313.
That's probably
313-462-0107.
Or you can hit us up on Twitter, hashtag IT&D.
That's right.
Oh, look at that. Throwing out the hashtag.
We suck at this.
So after your first sip, you basically said, you want to freeze it and then ice skate on it, and then you're going to melt it in the springtime and then drink it again. Is that how it went?
Yeah, basically. So the cool thing is
Beer Fest, sorry.
George and I were like right brain, left brain, and we came together and we started making some great beer. We ended up just making beer like crazy. We just got totally obsessed with it. Started making beer like crazy. Started taking it to parties. I ran a poker league. Took it over there. Next thing we knew, we had orders.
What size batches were you making then?
5 gallon.
Okay.
But we had orders from friends and family 3 months in advance of events. We ended up, we were brewing 3-4 days a week just to keep up with family and friends.
It's labor intensive if anyone's ever brewed beer. I mean, it's something I've always wanted to do, and I look at the
And you
steps
just don't like
involved.
work?
No, it's the patience. I have zero patience.
Are we going to get back to the if I sleep till 10, I can still have the fish
Well, I
story?
mean, it is not an immediate gratification at all. I mean, it's.
Oh no, you're 6 to 8 hours. Actually, on our 10-barrel system, it's about a 12-hour day with all the cleaning, sanitizing, and everything.
Right.
To put it into a fermenter and wait another 3 weeks before you can drink it.
Fascinating.
That's why. I mean, that's why
Unless it's
nobody's making lagers. I mean, because the storing process is another 3
Oh,
months.
and yeah, lagers are worse. I mean, lagers will sit in the fermenter for 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Crazy. So, I guess, where are we time-wise? Let's be smart and safe about this. All right, we're good.
We don't want dead air.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to be smart and safe. So, what's what's going on this weekend? At Falling Down Beer Company. Is there a big Bruins Blackhawks viewing party there tonight? Is there what's going on this weekend? People should come out for.
This weekend we're going to release our ESB. It's our latest.
The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. English special beer.
If you don't have a guy dressed up like Darth Vader, fail.
Yeah. We're actually gearing up for Beer Fest in Ypsilanti in July.
Okay.
Nice.
So we're brewing our asses off almost every day now.
See, we were at the one at DTE. You weren't there?
No, I was not there.
Okay.
All right. So
Are you guys? I know you guys are new. Are you guys planning on because there was a lot of Sam Adams. There's a lot of
Well, and
stuff
we
didn't wanna
figured out
see.
we paid $20 for a 40 based on the 4-ounce cup. So
And stood in line for it.
Well, so hold on. I mean, the one story he hasn't told yet is how he got the name. Like, who came up with the name? What's the story behind the name? Falling Down Beer
The story behind the name is it's an inside joke. A group of my friends.
Okay.
So
the best name.
So it's a
which I
not
could tell
to be
you,
repeated,
but then I'd have to kill you.
That's right. Yeah. That's like
it's a really simple story. I was sitting and waiting for friends. I drank like half a beer. Then they showed up, and I was like, "Oh, good, you guys are here. Watch my laptop. I'm going to go to the bathroom," and right onto the floor.
Boom.
Nice.
Yeah. Didn't even get off the stool. My foot caught on the little foot rail and right on the floor. So now the running joke was, as soon as I take a sip, it was like, oh, stop. You're falling down drunk.
Nice.
So it's just like the doc from Back to the Future. You had the vision of the flux capacitor. You had the vision of the logo and the name in your head. Just like, boom, that was it.
Yep.
That's more Dirk Diggler than
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's part of it too. When you start talking about branding, the logo matters, and
Absolutely, that's a great logo.
And for those
No
that
doubt.
haven't been out there, it's what, Facebook.com/falling down,
Falling down beer.
falling down beer, and fallingdownbeer.com.
Yep. And Twitter is falling down beer also.
Okay.
hashtag falling down beer.
Yes.
Well, no, it's an at sign.
It's
At.
It's
Either one.
at,
Either
yeah.
one.
No,
At
it's
falling
really
down
not
beer.
either
Bob
one.
is fascinated with hashtags.
I am.
He is.
And yet I can't get him anywhere near Ann Arbor. Go figure.
It's like it's like calculus problems.
You
It's
can
like,
just
I
make
don't
that his
get
new
it.
nickname. Just call him hashtag.
So let it be written.
I was going to say there's so many nicknames for Bob. I don't know.
Oh,
if we
yeah,
can
that
crack the
one's
top
not
five. So I mean, is there are there any cool specials? Cool. I mean, obviously you've got the ESB coming out. So I mean, is there an event of some sort that people should be planning on hopping into Falling Down for, or should they plan on looking for you in Ypsilanti?
Yeah, Ypsilanti is the next big thing. Before that, we're remodeling.
Hooray!
Yay!
Yeah,
You have to save at least one row of booths. Come on.
Well, and for those, and for those that haven't been in yet, so I mean, it was it my mother's place?
Yeah, it was called My Mother's Place. It was a little family diner, just like a Denny's.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Talking about my
booth
mom.
after
I know.
booth,
Stop talking about my mom. Your mom is.
Yeah, it was your mama's place. That's what it was. Yeah. So I mean, it's when we had our event there, we had probably 80, 90 people show
Yeah,
up.
it was packed.
it was
and basically, everybody hung out by the bar, and then it's
because they had nowhere else to go.
Well, no, they did. I mean, but the inside, to kind of put it in perspective, it's a little Ram's Hornish, if you want.
Yeah,
to
it looked like a Denny's.
Yeah,
Right,
where
right.
there's booth table.
But they had their priorities set. I mean, they had the brewing in the back. I mean, they were focusing on the real estate and what was important at the time.
Right.
And
Getting
we-
money in the door.
Yeah, and we made that conscious decision. We went the beers first, then
Right.
the food, and then the decor. So that's
and
Why go into debt remodeling when you need the money for
The most important thing is the beer.
Right.
But I was just there 2 weeks ago, and can you please tell people about the cheese in the chips?
Oh,
they were so amazing.
the mozzarella cheese wedges rolled in the pretzels.
What?
So how do you guys come up with these
I'm sorry.
ideas?
I wish we had video right now because Billy is drooling.
and Bob, I don't know what Bob's doing.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's a half-inch wedge of mozzarella cheese, beer batter dipped, and then rolled in crushed pretzel rods.
Go on.
Newman, you would need
And
broccoli
then-
if it was deep fried battered and chocolate.
Served with mustard or ranch, whatever you want. The mustard's the best.
Keep going.
Keep
I'm
going.
sorry, you need
Billy's almost there. Keep going.
And then do you deep fry them after that?
Yes.
You could do that to my sandals right now, and I would eat them.
and I'm sorry, you're open how late tonight?
11 o'clock.
Damn it. So good for anybody. Wait, no, nobody listening can leave to go to Falling Down. You can go tomorrow.
Yeah, but no, they make the most amazing chips as well. And they're spicy.
On that note, we're going to start drooling now, but we're coming up to the 10 o'clock
We're going
hour.
to Falling Down.
Dang it.
We're going to take a quick break. IT and the D Show, Raw Radio X.
We'll be right back.
Rah, rah.
Kaboom! There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom!
Yeah. Did you get that memo?
All right, we're back. The IT and the D show presented to you by DetroitNet.org. And we were just arguing how awful that last remix was.
That remix rocked. Everyone likes it, but
I thought it was awful. They thought it was amazing.
Get out.
So we're here at the IT and the D show today. We're talking about beer and social media. It's episode 4, A New Hope for Twitter. We got Billy here from Social Coop Media and the social media guy from Tipsy McStaggers.
Why is
Wait,
it
the
that
social media guy from what?
Tipsy McStaggers. So how is it that you remember his company name and yet you couldn't remember that Mark Brown was Brown Staffing Solutions?
I'm
going to call Mark Falling Down Brewing Company all night. Just
I'm 4 states away yelling at my phone. It's Solutions, not agency.
I was so selective. But we also got Mark here from Falling Down Beer Company. And during the break, he poured us a delicious. Is this the?
Which one is this?
This is the Rye Saison.
Rye Saison. We're going to try this at the same time. We really appreciate bringing some beer down. We're going to bring brewers here more often because of this.
Smells fantastic. Cheers.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No, I could get used to that. Wow.
Oh, that's
really
smooth.
good.
That's smooth.
Yeah, it's a good, nice summer beer developed in France and moved over to Belgium. It's,
So Saison means, and if you say season, I swear to God, I'm going to slap you.
I'm going to show my ignorance and say I don't know. Yeah.
You know, I'll be honest with you. I prefer the German beers, Weizens, and
What'd you call me?
Weizen. This is one of the better. I'm not going to lie. It's one of the better brewed brewery beers I've ever had.
Oh, thank you.
I'm not just saying that. So please do not mistake my for bringing me free beer.
This would go really good with barbecued ribs.
This would go really good with a Reuben egg roll.
This will go really good with that
you guys
cheese
gotta
thing that you were talking about earlier.
Where are you located? Because I keep hearing about this Reuben egg roll.
10 Mile into Quinder, and I swear to God,
it'll change your life.
It's a Reuben inside of an egg roll.
It'll change your life.
And it sounds bizarre, but
no, it doesn't. It doesn't sound bizarre.
It's
at all.
insane. And we make our own Thousand Island dipping sauce to go
How did
with
you
it.
come up with that idea?
God.
Or was that your? I mean,
yeah. Who said Reuben egg roll?
Yeah,
that was our cook. We hired a great chef, Stacy.
No, I remember when we did the event there, and I saw them, and I wanted them, and they said
what is that?
Kitchen's closed. The kitchen's closed, and I felt like Tommy Boy, like I'm a sales guy, so I felt like the whole chicken wings.
Wingy.
I felt like the whole chicken wing. Helen, you look like a Helen. Let me tell you why I suck at sales. And I pulled it off, and they made me them, and they were amazing.
Bobby want wingy.
Well, you Tommy Boyd, my chef.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's awesome.
Well, and to the point though, I mean, it just goes to show you. I mean, you focused on the top
What's
two
important.
things. You had good beer
and food.
You had good food.
Yeah.
And actually, we can actually talk about jobs. I don't know if you filled it yet or not. I just saw something you posted the other day. You were looking for a new wait staff.
Yep, I'm looking for. I need one more waiter, waitress. Probably gonna start the interviews tomorrow. So if anybody's interested, we're looking for one position. Has to be flexible, and you have to know beer.
So are you selling? Are you selling the local bars?
Well,
yet?
they should send a resume to.
They should send a resume to careers@fallingdownbeer.com or check out our website.
Oxymoron.
No, as I'm
That's just like our dream job. I got a career at Falling Down Beer.
Mark, let me ask you this: as being, I'm out in Rochester Hills, Auburn Hills, right? This beer is amazing. Are you selling to bars right now, or are you just guys keeping it in house, or what's the?
No, not right now, but we're about to. So go to the Ypsilanti Beer Festival. We have to sign on with the distributor. That's how you get your beer to the festival.
Sure.
Okay. We're also, now that we have the brew process down, we're filling our cooler up fast with kegs.
There's a great bar on 59 and Crooks, not to steal your thunder.
Clubhouse BFD.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely. One of my favorite bars.
I love it.
I live a half a mile from there, so
don't let him fool you. He lives at Clubhouse BFD.
And luckily, they've been in our place several times, and they've already said they'll make a tap available for us if we wanted to send them something.
Great guys over there.
Yeah. So we probably, I'm thinking sometime in August we'll be at places like Clubhouse BFD, One-Eyed Betty's, Ashley's, places like that. The big multi-taps.
How hard is it to break into that industry? I mean, is it as easy as they ask, or is it you have to go through a trial period, or what's involved?
Are
with
you
that?
talking about getting a tap or just opening a brewery?
Well, I mean, we're talking about selling your beers to other places. I mean, expanding beyond your one location, right?
It's very difficult. That's where the competition is.
Okay.
So you can open a brewery, you can get lots of people in, you can make money just at your location. It becomes shelf space, tap space after that. So yeah,
and
now
constantly supplying it.
Yeah, now as much as I love Bell's, now I'm competing with Bell's 4 taps at BW3s.
Right, got it.
Right, I got to
it.
convince BW3s, get rid of one of Bell's taps and give me a try.
So you either have to be all in with that, or you just kind of you can't just dip your toe into that.
No, and it's really hard with the laws the way they are. We have the 3-tier system in Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, where you have to go through a distributor.
I have to go through a distributor. The distributor is not inclined to sell my beer. The distributor is inclined to sell Budweiser.
Right.
Because Budweiser's paying them a ton of money.
Unless you incent the reps $2.50 a case. You know, I worked for a beer distributor.
I was going to say, sales guy, chime in here.
Wait,
absolutely.
There's payola.
Well,
in
there was,
beer?
you know, I worked for a, Labatt Coors distributor, and I worked for Budweiser, Molson, Guinness. And you wouldn't sell Guinness for 2 months, and then Guinness would come out and say, hey, we're giving $2.50 a case plus a trip to Jamaica if you win. We're like, I'm selling Guinness.
Right.
And you'd walk into
best beer ever.
I see absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No, you know what? It's incentive drives behavior. We say that at my job every day.
Right.
When you tell the other guys that sell service storage, to sell my stuff, you got to pay them to do so. And I think it's the same thing with the beer thing too. Excuse me. The beer's delicious.
Baby, okay?
Bob just choked on a meat stick.
Slim Jim.
I was drinking and talking at the same time.
The Slim Jim.
But if you can give the sales reps good incentive to sell your product, if not, invite them over to your place for a tour, things like that. Give them $1 a case. You're going to see a big turnaround in how they offer your product to the public.
Yeah, and what you're seeing now is an explosion of independent distributors. So in Imperial Beverage or a couple of no-name guys, and that's all they do. They just do craft beer. They don't want to touch the big boys. So
look, I mean, you were joking about being Sheldon Cooper earlier about how to actually brew all these beers. Were you diving into that part of the industry as well and learning the craft and learning the ins and outs of the distribution and all of that as well, or did you have some foreknowledge of that?
Yeah, and actually I did a couple of case studies of like Brooklyn Brewery in New York and stuff like that because they self-distributed. They were allowed to.
We just saw them over at DTE too.
Yeah, they were allowed to self-distribute, and the key to it is that small companies, they can't do the incentives to get the distributor to sell your beer over the big boys. Right? I just can't. However, there's also, you hit the bell curve. Brooklyn Brewery actually shut down their distribution because it got too expensive to run as an independent distributor.
Makes sense.
So at that point, they moved to the big distributor. So,
well, you look at we were at Atwater last week for an event, and you look what they did. They had the big restaurant, they had the big presence, and
they scaled back.
They scaled back. They moved the bar into the actual brewery.
Yeah.
So we're sitting here. The joke was, we're drinking milk right in the middle of a barn. I mean, but it was true.
You're not marrying it,
right? Exactly. But we're watching the things going. But you're seeing that a lot now. Where I was at Great Lakes the day before in Cleveland. Right, rough job you have there, Bob. But it's the same thing. They have a tasting room right in the middle of the brewery, and you're watching everything going on. And you don't care about the background noise, but wow, is it great to watch
the sausage being made?
Yeah. No, you don't want.
You never watch sausage being made ever.
Yeah. So what we have to do is we actually have to sell ourselves. So if I want to be in Clubhouse BFD,
so there's politics in beer too.
Absolutely, 100%.
Kill the dream.
But I have to take a 6-pack down the BFD and go try this beer and call my distributor, please, and tell them to bring you a keg.
Now and see, this is where we'll drag Billy into this one. So what are you doing from a social media standpoint, to try to get the word out and try to maybe, put a little pressure on people to say, hey, you know what, we've got X amount of followers, X amount of reach, we've got this kind of draw.
Yeah, I personally have not gone into that yet, but that is absolutely a valid point that we will be doing. I will offer that up. We have a really good following on Facebook and Twitter. And I have been able to leverage that and other things.
Well, and Billy, to drag you into that, have you seen that done?
Welcome back.
Successfully?
Hello, I'm here.
Yeah.
somebody wake him up.
I caught you napping over there.
How's that beer?
Amazing.
I have more.
Is there more?
More? And those cheese things.
Yeah. What was that Futurama? Beer.
The Saison's gone, but
beer.
I have some cherry here. Traverse City cherry.
Is gone.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought.
Well, because
We
I
started
guess
talking
that's
about beer.
I guess that's one of the things that social media you always hear. Whether it's the trending hashtag or anything like that. It's all about the reach and using that influence. You've got Peter Mayhew who gets stopped by the TSA
That's
because
Chewbacca, by the way.
Yeah. Anybody listening to the show knows that.
You do not need to explain that. If you need to have that explained, you should not be.
He looked confused.
Yeah.
And he sends a tweet out about how they're trying to take his cane away from him and he can't walk without it, and there's a whole Twitter storm that happens. And
Kevin Smith on Southwest.
Yeah.
Same thing. He almost. He almost took over Southwest. He had 2 million followers.
Right? Yeah, completely different sort of situation when you're talking about
the negative versus the positive. Yeah,
Right, but the foundation has been laid down for Falling Down Beer, and one of the things that you'll
because I've seen you over there playing with your phone. I don't think that you're over there checking them out.
I'm sending tweets. Isn't this show about beer and social media?
It is.
Right,
It
okay.
is.
Just checking. So the idea is, using that influence, and in time, the people who are most passionate about Falling Down Beer, they go to a bar like Tipsy McStaggers. Sorry, shameless promotion.
Oh, no, we love them. We're good.
But they run to Tipsy McStaggers and they're like, hey, do you have Falling Down Beer Company on tap?
Right.
Right. So as you build that sort of following, right?
And that comes in
say,
time. I mean, not to bring up your competition, but that took Dragon Meat 10 years to get to that point. It seems like you're accomplishing that relatively quickly in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, it's a different time right now.
Some of it's the changing market, too.
We're coming in a little late in the game, but still in a viable marketplace.
Well, craft is out doing, I couldn't imagine what Budweiser must be thinking these days with the craft,
buy more craft brewers.
With the craft brewery.
Yeah, exactly. They're just buying them and shutting them down. That's what they do.
Well, that was pre-prohibition, right? Where it was kind of like when you go to Germany, there's a brewery for every city, every town you ever went to. And it's getting back
like
to
a
the
post
point
office
now.
out there.
Yeah, I bought just in my I collect Breweryana, like old beer stuff. I bought a thing of beer cans. They're 300 beer cans, all different. And you look at the breweries and like, my God, these are all sold in America. You go to a liquor store right now or just a store, you don't see a near as amount of the different selections, but it's getting to that point where they're starting to get distributed. All these craft brewers that are just making amazing beers.
Well, and there's more and more places that are doing tastings.
And the selection of those beers, like the Falling Downs, they're not at CVS. They're not at the big Kroger type stores.
Right.
They're at the mom and pop shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're at these local winery shops that nobody's heard of, but they're owned by mom and pops. And small.
Here's a question: with the number of craft brewers that are popping up and looking to distribute, will someone shake up the marketplace and change that model of having to go through?
Well, I know there's been some talk of maybe changing the legislation to get rid of the 3-tier system.
The Michigan Brewers Guild is very heavily involved in Lansing trying to change that law, and actually it's being headed by Bell's. Bell's wants to break it.
Well, and I'm sure there's a lot of money lining up against them breaking it.
Oh yeah.
knowing the beer distributor business, I mean, that's been going on since Prohibition. It's whoever the biggest bootlegger was got the Budweiser distributorship in that county. So every county, you pretty much have to buy.
Is that the old behind every great fortune, there's a great crime?
Absolutely. There's so much truth behind it. But, every county are forced to purchase from one person. I mean.
Yeah, and the distributors own you. They can trade you like a baseball player,
So they probably don't embrace social media. They don't need to, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
they're the monopoly. They don't have to.
Yeah, no, there's some distributors that are on Twitter, Facebook.
The ones that are hungry for business, but the ones that are the monopolies.
They're the ones that have the we care.
Yeah.
Call us at whatever.
But the Bud houses, they're
Skunky Beer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What's the just to kind of close this out? Not that we're kicking you out, but I mean we did want to dedicate some time to
you. You can't kick him out. He has beer.
Oh no, it'll never happen. But I mean, so what? The 30-second pitch. Why do people want to come? Why should people go to Falling Down instead of their local pub or wherever else?
Ignore the entire diner thing. But we are making great, unique beer.
Clearly,
and it's different. We're not making just standard styles. We're making we took a saison and we changed it up to make it different.
See, I like the fact that you're just two IT guys passionate about something, wanted to carve your own little niche in the world, and you're actually doing a good job.
And you said
at it.
you're still in
To
IT,
me, that
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is is it a second job?
It is. I work 12 hours a day at home, and then I go to the brewery.
Holy crap!
Yeah, but doesn't that say when you're passionate about something, you'll find a way to make it?
right there.
I've been told a million times, if I could figure out how to do from 9 to 5 what I do from 5 to 9 with Detroit Net, I'd be in heaven.
You're kind of never mind.
Well, I actually joke. I got lucky.
Right.
I got lucky because I have a degree in marketing. Computers were a hobby. Brewing beer were a hobby. So everything I'm doing is a hobby, and then I'm finally using my degree.
And your business partner and friend George is a similar situation, same type of IT background, and
Yep.
Okay.
But he actually has a finance degree, I believe, but his hobby was IT, and he got into IT. So he's actually doing the finance for us.
Yeah, perfect fit.
So since we're going there, what dragged you into social media, Billy?
Well,
SEO guy back in the 90s. No.
Yeah, oddly enough, I went to
Ninja.
school for marketing, but ended up in manufacturing for a while, unfortunately. So what I did in manufacturing, though, was spend a lot of time just hanging out, doing social media, doing the AOL thing.
Right.
And then I realized that people pay you for this stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Always a nice realization.
Pay you a lot of money for this.
Most days.
It ebbs and flows. We understand.
Yep, you know how it is as entrepreneurs. But, the great thing about it was, going back a few years ago, finding that there was a community. And then taking the time to learn how, people use social media. But it's really, again, it's no different than anything that we've done online for years. It's just, we're communicating.
I imagine like a 6-year-old bar owner that has no concept on this world, and you bring them in a completely different planet and kind of change their whole outlook on the ability to reach customers and to talk to people. It's got to be life changing.
It is
for them.
Yeah, but it's learning a new language. Retweet, modified tweet, at messages.
You look at someplace like Tipsy, and Tipsy's is a great place. But it's
quintessential corner bar,
right? It is the quintessential corner bar. What is that social media talk like with them versus somebody who might be a little bit bigger of a player?
Yeah, so with Tipsy, it's really about upcoming events. What sort of specials do we have going on? Because people
Shotsky pictures.
Shotsky, that's right.
God, I love you.
There should be some blurred faces, I imagine. But yeah, we just people follow brands for different reasons. A place like Tipsy McStaggers, it's going to be important. What do you have going on? What sort of events do we have coming up?
Right.
But you have to worry about saturation as well. If you invite every weekend your 1,000 followers, it's going to become bland, and it's they're going to, oh my god, another invite. So you got to be real careful on how many times you hit them in terms of sending out those mass invites.
It is. It's easy to abuse that. But Facebook made some changes to where pages weren't being able to send out invites.
We've learned that.
Yeah. So you had to manually go in as yourself and invite, make sure that you were connected to the people that you would want to invite. And that's not a bad thing. But from Tipsy McStagger's standpoint, what we do is we'll create an event, but we allow people to share that on their own. We'll post it to the page, but they have the option of sharing it. And then if we need to, if we're not getting the sort of traction that we like, then we'll promote it, using Facebook advertising.
So related to that, the one question I wanted to ask you is, you do, social media consulting for various companies across multiple industries,
Yes.
right?
Which we should get to. People find you how?
Yes.
Socialcoopmedia.com.
Social
Coop. COOP.
Okay.
Right.
Like basketball.
So a particular industry, particular company it may be counterproductive for your livelihood and your business, but have you ever, consulted with a company and based on their goals or whatever it is that they're trying to do, sell something, whatever, said, LinkedIn is just not for you. This is not your target audience. Is there certain avenues where you say it's not worth your time? You're not going to get the ROI out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Part of the process is that we like to spend a month prior to launching just researching the company, their audience, just setting up a profile for what the target person that they want to go after, or multiple types of personalities that they want to work with.
Right.
But yeah, it's a lot of research in the beginning. It's not just hopping into social media. And you'll see that a lot of being advertised. Hey, for $500 a month, we'll do LinkedIn, Twitter, we'll do all of the social networks for you. But that's not necessarily what's best for you.
They don't know your business.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
right, yeah.
So you really need to make sure that whoever you're going with, whatever consultant that you're using, company, that they take the time to understand your business and figure out what social media network makes the most sense for you.
Well, it's almost like I've seen so many people in the past, like in traditional media, saying, hey, I bought a magazine and I didn't get any calls, so I'm canceling it, right?
Yeah.
Put a TV commercial, it didn't work, So, I mean, you have to be consistent. You got to
put a $125 ad in my local Chamber of Commerce magazine. I didn't get any business. Why not?
I'll never advertise again. But I see the same thing happening here, right? You can run Facebook till you're blue in the face. You might get one person, you might get nobody, you might get 10. But you can't run it quickly and expect to get a return out of it and then get out.
Right. And I mean, and it sounds like the same kind of conversations, we have from an IT perspective. I need Java. Okay, why?
Exactly. Drill it down.
Yeah.
Drill it down.
Well, at the end of the day, it's like, no, you don't really need a Java developer. You need somebody that does this and, a whole different ballgame. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it sounds like that same kind of thing applies.
So we're coming up on 10:30. We're going to take a quick break. We're here with Billy from Social Cool Media. We're here with Mark from Falling Down Beer Company.
Yeah, you got no problem remembering the beer company guy.
No, never.
This is the fastest 2 hours of radio ever.
Fastest, right. This is the IT and the D Show, Raw Radio X.
I don't like my job.
We're back live.
We are back pouring beer right now.
Yeah, save some for the rest of us.
It's the IT and the D Show. We're pouring some of this cherry blonde around the studio.
What'd you call me?
This is Bob the sales guy. We're here with Dave the Geek, Jeff the voice of reason from DetroitNet.org.
Currently pouring beers right now.
Currently pouring beers for the studio. We're joined in studio live. Mark from Falling Down Beer Company. We got Billy from Social Coop Media, and also we know him as the social media guy from Tipsy McStaggers.
Sure.
We're tonight's topic. We're talking about beer and social media. It's kind of a cornerstone to our group since our tagline is networking Detroit one beer at a time. We've always had our monthly network events located in and around Metro Detroit at local bars, breweries, and we always thought networking was better doing it with a beer in your hand than it was just exchanging business cards at 7 a.m. So what was the first topic of conversation we talked about in the break? Billy, what did you say we wanted to talk about?
It's something called Google Plus.
Wait, what? Can you repeat that? What were you talking about again?
Google Plus.
You're so witty and clever.
I'm so confused right now.
No, but Dave.
So is everybody on Google Plus?
No, but it's what it reminds me of.
Why is nobody listening to me?
It's my own personal. I went to the gym today for the first time in probably 8 months, but yet I've been paying for the membership. So I'm a classic Google Plus guy.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I know, right? Today I tried to make time, but that's what Google. I still haven't figured it out. I talk about not getting Twitter. Google Plus, that's another thing that the only thing that's making me mad is on YouTube that it's forcing me to use my real name, so I can't make bad comments on videos anymore.
I'm so wasted.
Exactly.
And that's where we get into if you would just have different social media profiles, you could get away with it.
You know what? Can we talk about that?
Let's do that.
So there's some people around town, and I'm not going to name names.
Dave,
that have multiple profiles and personalities on multiple social media sites.
Say it isn't so, Bob.
You know what? You talk about ain't no one got time. Hit that ain't no one got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Exactly. That's how I feel. It's like, wait a minute. I got enough stuff I need to look at and read. And now I have to
manage my 6 real accounts. Now I have to manage 6 fake accounts, for crying out loud.
But it doesn't take as much time as you think.
Explain
Well,
that.
and it's not about paying attention to them. It's that you use them for a specific purpose.
You're spying.
Well, no. It's I want to check my own Facebook profile from an account that's not a friend of mine.
The her.
Thank you. Thank you. You see, me and you are on the same page.
Yes. No, I want to check my profile settings. I want to be able to take a look at things that maybe I shouldn't be playing with.
Are you sure you're just making Facebook profiles to the names you wish your mother would have named
thank you very
you?
much, Judge Schmale.
Well, it's also cheaper than therapy as well.
Right.
So, I have multiple profiles as well.
Why?
Let them talk.
Please, Bob.
I wanted to ask why.
No, I'm teasing. So the idea is that I don't want to share.
I'm unplugging you.
So I have my personal profile at BJ Straughter. If you decide that you'd like to follow, please. And then I have one for Social Coop Media. Social Coop Media strictly sends out.
I get that. But are you like Stevie Johnson? Like, do you do that?
Why do I?
That's
where did that come from?
Multiple names of personalities on different websites. No,
and that's the idea of that it's cheaper than therapy.
Right.
So,
you can be schizophrenic on Facebook.
There are, we've always said there are a lot of voices trapped in my head. I'm just giving all of them their own profile.
Hey, your invisible friends have lives now.
Exactly. She lives in Niagara Falls. You wouldn't know her.
Yeah, I suppose it's only strange if your different personalities are having conversations with themselves on Twitter.
Oh yeah, no, that would be. I'm not that nuts. Don't give me that.
Yeah. If this was a video podcast right now, the icy stare of death.
Yeah, exactly. I wish that would have been like the featured photo for the episode
exactly.
right there. Yeah, skeptical dog is skeptical. So before I forget, so we now have what in front of us?
Yes. What are we drinking?
This is a cherry blonde made with Traverse City cherries.
You know what? I usually say no fruit in your beer, right? Man law. This is tasty. I like it. I would order this again, and I would pay for it.
We intentionally made it so it wasn't fruit and beer per se, but just a little bit of flavor in the back end.
The only one, like the strawberry blonde. What is it? The Sam Adams one, right?
Yeah.
It's like cool.
Pete's Wicked.
I had that. But that's like Kool-Aid in your beer. This is actually a nice beer.
It's almost more of a cherry aftertaste.
Kool-Aid in your beer.
Yeah, exactly. It's a finish. It's about the finish. Not,
absolutely.
You don't want
what she said.
Yeah, I don't want to feel like I'm drinking cherry syrup.
Right, yeah. Or have it bite all the way down. Right, yeah.
And that, anyway. So I'm sorry, back to you, Billy. Multiple profiles.
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm still stuck on the Kool-Aid in the beer thing and thinking of the guy breaking through the wall saying, "Oh yeah, oh yeah."
We need a drop.
Was that a 70s reference or 80s reference or both?
Well,
they're still doing it.
They're still doing. He still shows up in Family Guy episodes.
Well, so. that's different. I mean, come on.
So you've arrived.
Oh yeah, once you're in Family Guy.
Yeah. There used to be The Simpsons, now it's a Family Guy.
Well, yeah, once when South Park hates you, you're good.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you've arrived.
Robot Chicken.
When Weird Al parodies
well.
you, you've made it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the difference between having a company Twitter handle and your personal Twitter handle, we get that, but having multiple personal Twitter handles.
Well, didn't you say? I'm
going to let Dave handle that.
Dave,
yeah,
because
I don't have multiple. There's me. Right?
We talked about this in pregame before the show that Dave was saying 40% of Facebook profiles are fake, and I'm like 40.
Well, it's like I said. I mean, there's a guy I know that's a heavy duty hardcore gamer. And he alone has like 35 different profiles that he runs. Whether
that means you have to have 35 email addresses.
Yeah, there's millions of Facebook accounts that are dead, and we joked about it. It's like, oh yeah, they're dead. No, they're actually active Facebook people that are legally dead. That other people are using their profiles, and they're liking.
Well, either
things.
that or they're sort of.
They're ghosts.
Well, no, but they're there as memorials, as living memorials.
Well, but like a
goes
page
beyond that,
or something like that, you can understand. But it's these
are personal profiles.
Somewhat creepy aspect of someone taking over someone's.
I set up a profile for my dog. Yeah, I mean that's
all right.
That's type of creepy stuff. No, I personally did not, but there are people that do that type of thing.
I did. My dog has.
Do you bring the profile for your dog to a restaurant?
That's how I started this business.
Yeah, but even
how many comments does that LinkedIn discussion have now? Like 40?
Yeah, but even so, I mean, over 1 billion users on Facebook, but over 600 million of them log on every day. And the accuracy of that, and those are stats provided by Facebook.
45% of all statistics are useless.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
So, but people are they're logging into Facebook, whether it's fake or not. But part of the issue is when you had newspapers and blogging platforms going to Facebook comments, right? So you had to have some sort of real name or real profile. So in an effort to try to get rid of, people just
fraud,
jumping in for fraud or trolls.
Not just fraud,
right?
trolls. I mean, 90% of that was people just would unleash the beast within their darkest soul of their heart and they put their name on it. They're like, I don't know if I want to write that.
You're bravest when you're anonymous. Right?
Exactly.
Right.
So how do you get around that? You create a fake Facebook profile. So that's why you see it
happens.
Well, that was the whole point
Dave
of
the troll.
That was the whole point of message forums right back in the day, and then Reddit you can still do it with a fake name. So I mean, you see the vitriol that comes out when you don't have to use your name. It's amazing what comes out of people's mouths.
Jerry 58 got banned, but Jerry 59 is fine.
Exactly.
Right. But the interesting thing about social media is that, as we were talking about generations earlier, is that you have a generation now that doesn't have that filter, right? So they're just. It
They're
doesn't
posting
matter
the duck
whether
face pictures and everything.
They're going to post whatever is coming to their mind.
What we call oversharing is the norm.
Is the norm, exactly.
And that's scary. I mean, none of those people will be able to run for office.
Well, we were at Lawrence Tech speaking to freshman business students, and first thing you say is stop whining on Facebook, stop posting every Kegs 10 picture. This is your resume starting
your permanent
now.
record.
The internet remembers
absolutely.
everything.
Like, you are going to get Googled when you interview for a job. You're going to get Googled on every platform when you start dating someone, and if they start seeing something that's off color or bad or something that would not be recognized as, I guess.
Where they don't know you to understand the context or anything else, and it's a whole bigger deal.
When you look at my Facebook profile, what is it? It's 80% of it is I'm out here having a beer. I'm doing a shot ski. But if you don't know me, you're like, oh my god, this guy's crazy, or
an alcoholic, or
even if we do
how's
know
that
you.
wrong?
Right?
Or he's in IT.
Exactly. but for the most part is, if you don't know, that's another thing with social media is don't connect with everybody. The fact that I share stuff with Dave and Jeff, and I have everyone that I connect with on Facebook, I've met at least and shook their hand at least once.
And that was part of the whole conversation that started getting rolling today in the LinkedIn group.
Oh, the ZDNet article.
Yeah, the whole thing about Facebook keeping shadow profiles. on
they were
people
keeping shadow profiles on everyone, and people were finding out by when they're doing that Facebook export feature, and it would be downloading all of your private data, but it was public in Facebook's eyes.
Well, yeah, it wasn't,
and they were getting all bent out of shape.
Well, yeah, so it was data that your friends may not have shared with Facebook, but that Facebook had collected on them and had it back in the shadow profile. And my response to that was, well, guess what? If you're worried about me having your phone number, we probably shouldn't be. Well, we probably shouldn't be friends on Facebook because we're not friends. Exactly. Friends have each other's phone number. They have each other's email address. But it's that cult of personality, for lack of a better word, where the more friends I have, the more followers I have, therefore the better of a person I must be. Yeah. No, it doesn't work that way.
Billy, do companies for Facebook specifically, for Facebook pages and that brand presence on that medium, do they mine those Facebook likes for their, if Dave and I friend, whatever company it is, are they going back and looking at that from the company's point of view and saying, okay, well,
when we go
Dave
like
Jeff,
your page, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do with that? Information.
The amount of data that we're given by Facebook is limited. So, as a page, if I'm acting as a page, I can see your name. I can click on your profile, but I can only see the information that you've made public.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So you're safe.
Got it.
But tighten up those profiles.
Well, right. And that's if you've been smart enough to lock things down. We're not
their security policies.
Right. Yeah, because I don't know if all of a sudden I've noticed every time I log into Facebook, even though I've logged out of chat, now when I log into Facebook, chat is open every single time.
It enables itself.
Yeah. Here's what I
thought it was a bug, just me.
Well, and here's what I figured out though. It's in the mobile client. Well, yes, it's annoying. In the mobile client, there's a setting in there that says turn chat on. Or be active in chat, and if you leave that on, as soon as you open it up, when you go to your desktop,
it's on,
it's up and running and waiting for you.
Yep, and I've even found that when I turn that off on my mobile, it'll still log me into
Really?
chat.
See, because I haven't had that problem in a couple weeks now. Once I figure that out.
What's the percentage of people hitting mobile versus desktop? I'm curious. I would say it's 60 mobile.
Can I
Am
just say a
wrong?
lot? Does that count?
It's over 50% of web traffic is now coming in from a mobile device.
Tons and bunches versus
it was
tons
just
and
Is it a
bunches.
lot with one word or a space lot?
Can we do a dash?
They were just saying that I don't know who specifically, so I know it's a bad reference, but Google is going to start penalizing companies for not having a responsive or mobile ready website. So if you go to
Really?
whatever.com and it's not
M.
Android or iPhone,
Well,
enable,
no, not even M.dot, but I mean just responsive and
just
flexible.
a responsive website. So it shows up better on.
Because the majority of
Now, are you
searches-
talking about a mobile site or a responsive
I'm talking
website?
about a responsive website. Not, I'm not
So you're
talking
talking about RAD. So if you have a RAD site, or if you do not,
what is a
then
RAD?
Google-
80s skate park?
responsive adaptive design.
Oh.
Yes.
So if you do not have a RAD
Mark got that
site, then Google will discount you in the rankings.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
There are a lot of factors that Google uses, but I wouldn't be
Right.
surprised
Well,
if
they-
that
and
would
they
be
change
one
those
of them.
That's what I'm saying.
algorithms.
I know
What
it's
if
a
you
bad
had-
reference because I can't remember
Well,
where
they
I
change
read
those.
it, but
They
that's-
change those algorithms every 3 months. So
Jeff,
chasing
whatever
that
it is,
spider
yeah.
is.
What if you have an
almost
app though that
impossible,
optimizes
but-
it, like me being on Reddit constantly? Reddit
Do
has
you
a
really
great-
need an app for everything?
No,
though?
but I don't
No, you
download
do
the
not.
app. But they don't. Their website isn't mobile responsive.
Yeah, but if you're a small business, the way around that is using a content management system like WordPress.
Yep.
Which will automatically
Yeah.
resize your site.
Well,
How
if
many
it's
are
coded
using it
properly.
these days? That's the thing.
Oh, WordPress?
But the
No,
difference
I'm
between
talking like
responsive
well,
design and mobile.
in Billy's business with bars and restaurants, and I mean, how many are using WordPress? I don't think many.
well, the thing
Isn't
is, though, is
CBS Detroit done in WordPress?
I believe it is.
Yeah.
But responsive or the site itself reading what device that you're coming in from and automatically switching to a mobile site are two different things, right?
I'm talking about having a presence that's optimized for viewing for a mobile device,
Right.
whether it be
So
a phone or a
right.
tablet
So when you hit
or
that
whatever.
site, it knows.
Yeah,
it's
whether
coming
it's
from mobile
RWD
device,
or a mobile site.
it automatically
Yeah.
adjusts itself.
Right.
Right. So we're not just talking
That's
about
really
redirects.
scary.
We're not
So-
talking about redirects.
Right.
We're talking
Now I'm
about a site
freaking
that,
out, thinking I need to go home. So it's not just having a mobile site itself; it's the actual responsive.
having a
It's
responsive
having a
site.
site that's coded to standards. I mean, we're not going to get into the whole techie geeky thing right now.
I know, but
It's-
thank you
yeah.
for now freaking me out
Right.
because I got to go home.
Right.
Raw Radio X, right? Okay, thank you. Sorry,
I mean,
to
Mario,
jump in like that.
your site. I mean, is it content management? Is it just raw HTML? I mean, what's your marketing
it's
site right now?
Joomla.
Is it Joomla?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Joomla. Yeah, I'm a total
The geek
Joomla geek.
CMS.
Yeah, I'm a
So you're
total
Joomla geek. I mean,
geek.
but do you
Yeah.
find that you have a need to update the content that often? I mean, you're promoting events. Are you promoting new beers? I mean, what's the
Yeah,
purpose
well,
for having a content management system for your
Yeah,
site?
exactly. We're updating events and menus and beers
Because I'll be
all the
honest, I
time.
don't know. Like, I go to your Facebook page like once a week or so, or whenever I see a post from you. I don't know that I've ever actually been to your website.
Yeah, it's a tough
Fail.
one.
I'm just saying.
There was a point in time.
Social media is doing a good job.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah, there was
I
a
guess
point in
that's
time that I
true.
didn't
That's
think the website was even worth maintaining, but at the same time,
You have to have the .com, right? Just
You
like a
have
yellow,
to have it.
it's like
You
a
have
yellow
to have
pages
it.
app.
Mark,
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for you to be on Open Table, then I can make reservations for two.
after we remodel. So I don't want you reserving
All right,
a
no, I'll wait for that. I'm
Save a
waiting.
booth just for Bob.
Yeah.
Please.
Why
It's
are
in the
you
back.
not unplugged?
I asked that on episode 1.
But you need that.
segment
You
1.
still need a website.
Absolutely.
You do. Oh, absolutely.
You do.
Facebook, LinkedIn,
See, my
Twitter
view
are all
is-
third parties.
All the social
Right.
media avenues should be pointing back to your company's
Exactly.
website.
You need a base,
Yep.
and
Yes.
that's how we treat it.
Yep.
You know, it's that whole all roads lead to Rome approach. You know, whether it's the LinkedIn group, well, other than the stupid memes on Facebook. You know, but I mean, everything that we do, we try to use that as a touch point in the conversion funnel, and for our intents and purposes, that conversion funnel ends at get to website, get to event. You know, whereas with you guys, it's come indoor, buy beer.
Right.
Or those cheese things. Or
Yeah, the cheese wedges,
The
pretzel
cheese-
coated cheese wedges.
You ship those, by the way?
see, Billy's having another moment over there. So
Can you come in next Monday and bring?
Yeah, my eyes sort
I
of
can do
glazed
that.
over thinking about the cheese.
Oh, just stop on the way down and pick up a growler and some to-go food.
Yeah,
that's what you need is a to-go
pay you
menu.
when you get here.
Yeah, so
We are
what
making
is-
a good to-go menu
What is your Twitter handle again?
at Falling Down Beer.
At Falling Down Beer. And is there a Twitter handle for IT and the D?
At IT and the D.
Oh, look at that.
IT.
That's
Or it's
special.
just DetroitNet.
Or both work.
Yeah, look at him taking over the radio show and getting plugs in for everybody else. I love
at
it. I like it.
Radio
And,
Wax.
and what is your own, Billy? What's your?
At BJ Strawter, STRAWTER.
Or Coop, Social Coop Media?
Social Coop Media.
It's solutions, not agent.
Nice.
Is it COOP or COUP?
COOP.
As in
Like Chicken Coop, not the car.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Chicken Coop, not DeVille. So, and I guess so. From that perspective, I mean, I guess we've kind of let beer and social media kind of dominate this. What
And meat on a stick.
and meat on a stick, and our iTunes ratings are falling as we go.
We have them.
Yeah. So what is Social Coop Media looking for? I mean, are you guys I'm sure it's kind of a dumb question. Are you looking for new clients? But what
is your target market?
What are you looking to do? I mean, what's out there for you guys?
We're always looking. I'm sorry. We need video.
That's why we need an.
You're not
After
here to
Dark
talk
segment.
about Dell, Bob. Shut up.
I'm not.
That's it. I'm bringing in the webcam.
We're always looking for new challenges. So we've worked with nonprofits, we've worked with restaurants, bars, large corporations. But one of the things that I would love to work on is a political campaign.
Yes.
Just for,
Really?
Yeah.
Rob Ray comes to mind.
Do you care what side? We have a friend. We have a friend running for city council.
Yes, we do.
A little bit larger scale, but city council.
Hey, you gotta
works.
start somewhere. You gotta start somewhere.
Well, excuse us.
Well,
I'm holding out for a management position.
right. Pardon us, Billy. Rob, I was trying to give you a shot out there.
Right.
State Senate. Screw that.
Rochester Hills City Council. So
Oh my God.
Right.
And I hate you guys.
right.
We were good until the 10:50 mark, and I hate you guys.
Yep. So we'll catch
Forget
up with you guys
Fago.
next week.
Forget Fago.
So yeah, so a political campaign. Now why? Because I mean that seems like it's a fairly charged environment.
That's exactly
that
the
why?
reason. That's the reason why. Because I think it would make an amazing case study, right? Because you have, when you look at the last election, the amount of
bought Twitter followers,
right? I mean, whether it's Twitter or it's Facebook, I mean, you fall on one side or the other,
Yep.
right? And so the challenge of how do you get your message across when it's such a charged environment?
by stealing everyone else's hashtags and just making sure you flood
Yes.
the conversation.
Yes. Like WTF or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because Jell-O did that, didn't they? Wasn't it Jell-O that took over the WTF?
Did
hashtag
they?
something?
I don't know. I
didn't hear about
hadn't
that.
heard that.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. Let me tweet that for a
Yeah,
second.
let's wait for you to look that up.
Let me search that.
Just talk
Can we
amongst
do some
yourselves,
music
right?
right now? Yeah.
Keep yourselves busy.
Yeah, smoke if you got them.
That's the thing
Let
about
me Google that.
That's the thing about hashtags, right? Is anybody can make up any hashtag they want, so they're kind of completely random, right?
Well,
Absolutely.
yeah, and it never happens that someone starts using someone else's hashtag.
Oh, never heard of it.
Or company
But it's first
name
one.
or-
But it's first one too. Well, what do we do about this?
Well, and it happens. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's that common ground of once you put something out there. I mean, it's kind of like a hashtag is almost the biggest version of open source there is. Once you put it out there in the wild, it is no longer yours.
You don't own it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, a company name here in Detroit has a different meaning somewhere else. I mean, it could be a name of
Well,
somebody personally, or it could
yeah.
be, an agency. It could be, absolutely. I mean,
We get that question often. How do we keep people out of our hashtag? You don't.
You don't. You can't.
You can't do it.
Right.
So you just want to be. There's some strategy involved in that.
That sounds like
right?
3 grad students sitting around a doorway. Dude,
how do we keep them
how
out
do
of
we
our hash?
keep people out of our hashtag?
I don't
man?
understand.
Don't bogart my hashtag. Man.
No, I think you have to. I mean,
Hey, bud. Let's party.
Exactly. I think you have to dominate it. If you have somebody hitting it, you have to flood it with your own message. And again, Twitter, no rules. Go do it.
That whole fire hose thing.
Absolutely.
And the hashtag is pointless if you're just, if you're sending a random, just creating a random hashtag. If you're not using it on a regular basis, it's pointless.
It means nothing.
Yeah.
Well, because the whole point with it is to get some sort of traction with it, and to get more than just you using it,
And to organize information, right?
And then to become trending and get a pony.
And please, can we stop?
We trended
with-
globally. Oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah, and can the thing that drives me up the wall One is taking pictures with an iPad. But if we're talking about
at a concert or in general,
just in general.
Oh yeah,
but if we're talking about,
that's always phenomenal when you see parents with the giant, 10-inch. Oh yeah,
yeah. We were in Niagara Falls.
it's such a better picture than reality.
I actually saw somebody leaning over the railing with an iPad, taking a picture of the falls. I wanted to just nudge them so they would.
Or the old brown paper bag blown up right behind them. Boom.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Oh my God, the resolution's so much better than reality.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, but the other is just there's no need to hashtag every single word in your tweet. So
who does that?
Lots of people.
No, really.
All right, so kind of related to that, hashtagging everything. So the other social media outlets that we haven't really talked about, Pinterest or Instagram or the new kid on the block, Vine. All these new social media outlets. I mean,
or the soon-to-be Vine killer, Instagram.
Or Instagram video, right? Yeah, right. What is it?
Is that Snapchat?
15
now?
seconds as opposed to 6 seconds. Are those all Pinterest? Mark could take a picture of his brewery or take a picture of the latest batch. I mean, is that something
Would
that
you
you
do
would
that,
be
Mark?
interested in posting on Pinterest? Have you done that? I mean, are you engaging on that?
Yep.
Are you seeing a response on that?
I'm not getting much out of Pinterest.
Okay.
I don't see why.
Yeah, well, I mean, the demographics.
It's being funny.
So, again, it goes back to target market.
Right, target market and demographics. So it's about understanding who's using what platform.
But would it be neat for Mark to do a 6-second or 15-second Instagram video of his brewery, something being brewed? Is that like a engagement type of activity that would be worth his while?
Yeah, just don't make a video that sucks.
Or at least
Right.
sucks less.
No, right.
That's our goal. We never aim for perfect. We always go for sucks less.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That seemed much funnier in my head.
Dead air.
No, but the idea, you could totally take advantage of Vine, right? So if you want to just give a behind the scenes of what's going on as you're making
like
those
tonight
amazing.
here, that'd be a perfect
right?
example of that.
I mean, I have friends that can
6-second
shrug a
snippets.
beer in like a second and a half. Those videos, I think, would
Friends.
be me. But I'm just saying, videos like that, like quick, it's a short attention span theater, right? You got 10 seconds, then you lost them. If you get something,
that's just it. Like this family reunion I was just at out east. My 14-year-old niece was doing Vine videos all week of just random stupid stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun to her, and she was texting them all to her friends, and they were laughing hysterically.
Right.
To me, it's like dead air. Like, I don't know that would be worthwhile for a brand to engage in that type of thing. I don't know if that's the right audience for that. But I see other people where they're doing what I was just trying to describe to Mark. They're doing like a video of this.
well, didn't you forget? We forgot Foursquare too. I mean, are you doing like the free appetizer if you're checking out Foursquare? Is that even on your radar?
Yelp does that now, too.
Absolutely, yeah. We are on Foursquare. We haven't.
Are you the mayor?
No, that's actually one of the worst things you can do on Foursquare is actually have your staff be the
Become your
mayor.
mayor.
Yeah, you want.
I'm the mayor. I'm the mayor of Bob's
It's like being
house.
antisocial.
Yeah, Dave is the
exactly.
mayor of my basement.
And we did that at Tipsy McStaggers.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that at Tipsy McStaggers. We made sure that the employees couldn't take over the mayorship. But the interesting thing about Foursquare is the number of people. So we give away a buy one get one at Tipsy McStaggers when you check in. Is the number of people who check in but never bother to claim.
So is it
Really?
kind of like the new
You feel
version of
weird.
the rebate?
Yeah, it's the discount card. or
Honestly,
whatever,
we were
right?
just at me and Dave were at BFD on Friday, and I checked in on Foursquare, and I go, "Oh my god, we get free pretzel sticks!" And I go, "Do we even bother saying something?" Like I almost
Well,
felt,
no. And then I looked at them and I went, "They're already on the way to the table because I'd already checked in."
but I
saw the post. Yeah,
I felt strange, kind of going, "Hey, lady, look, I get free stuff." Like I almost I don't mind.
you felt guilty about it.
You know what? I just rather pay for it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, but the other thing
Here's
too
the-
that you run into
so
is
Dave's
that the
point-
business doesn't, they don't explain to their employees how it works.
Right.
So you
Everyone's
check in
confused.
and you're
Everyone's
supposed to get
confused.
free.
That
and
sounds
you
like
show it to
Groupon.
them. Yeah. And they're like, I don't know what to do with this. Let me go get a manager.
Right.
And the manager doesn't know what to do with it. And they're like, let me make a phone call.
Well, like, wait, who put this up? Wait, what? I get that. I got that. Then now I don't.
Where's
even
that
ask.
Billy social media guy that's putting stuff out there for us again?
Get him on the line.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, we are getting damn near close to the end of the show, and I want to
How
make
did
sure
that
we do
happen?
a good final recap.
That was the fastest 2-hour
Beer.
Absolutely. So, Mark, people find you at fallingdownbeer.com
Yes,
or facebook.com/
Falling Down Beer
or on Twitter.
at Falling Down Beer.
And
And
really
Billy.
easy if you can't do that.
Sure. My personal account is at BJ Straughter.
On Twitter, obviously.
On Twitter, right. At Social Coop Media. Socialcoopmedia.com, and Coop is COOP.
Awesome. And obviously you can find us at DetroitNet.org, or as always, itandthed.com will reach us as well.
We're on iTunes finally.
We are on
just got
iTunes.
approved for iTunes today, which
we
is
would
stunned
appreciate a
us.
high rating. Give us a review. That would be
We are
great.
not above bribery.
That's
We're not
right.
going to Yelp, so it's going to be okay.
Straight cash payout would be just fine.
The biggest partiers on our entire network.
I heard this.
Which I'm
That's
so
how-
proud of, given the
I
fact
can't
that rockers hang out in here all the time.
No, I heard on the last break, she goes, of all the rappers, rockers, and crazy people that hang out here, you're the biggest partiers.
You guys are.
Clearly, we don't take ourselves too seriously.
I mean,
that's
we
what the other
literally
people's problem is.
have hip hop. I mean, rock bands in here.
Really?
You guys are the biggest partiers. Yep.
Love it.
Awesome.
Another feather in
Has
my
nothing to
hat.
do with it has nothing to do with the PBR sitting on the table in front of us.
All right,
Guys,
that's going to wrap things up.
thanks
IT and the
much.
D. See you next week.
Goodbye.
That's all, folks.
Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight